Have you ever wondered why Emperor Palpatine is so afraid of Senator Bail Organa? After all, Palpatine is one of the most, if not the most, powerful Sith Lord in existence. If you just take one look of his feats, he defeated Grandmaster Yoda in a duel, and even more impressively, was the final act of revenge for Darth Bane, who started the rule of two over 1,000 years before the Battle of Endor. So it doesn't really make sense that someone so powerful would fear a seemingly random senator from a random core world. But Palpatine did, and the question is why. Join me, your host Lim, as we take a look at the answers to this question and more in today's underrated moment. But before we get going, I wanted to yet again remind you that we're holding a 10,000 subscriber giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe, like, and then answer a simple question and leave it in the comments below. And today's question is, who is your favorite Republic senator? Not Imperial Senator, but a senator from the time of the Galactic Republic. Just write that in the comments and we'll automatically enter you. And please remember to subscribe as well. Alright, now on to today's tale. When we think of Palpatine and how much he feared Bail Organa, we have to think about what the Emperor actually loves. What does he want? What can't he live without? When we find that answer, then we can figure out what he is afraid to lose, and that is exactly what Organa might threaten. And when you take a look at Palpatine, there's really only one thing that he loves: power. He wants control over the galaxy and all of its citizens. That's why he spent decades studying Sith lore under his master, Darth Plagueis. And that's also why he spent years carefully grooming young Anakin Skywalker, so that he could have the most powerful apprentice in the galaxy. At first, when Palpatine was starting his rise from a humble senator of Naboo to the Supreme Chancellor, he realized there was only one thing that really stood in his way: the Jedi Order. For thousands of years, the Knights of the Light Side had pushed their weight around the galaxy. And even though Sith Lords like Exar Kun and Naga Sadow had attempted to overthrow him, the Jedi always seemed to win in the end. Even the very first leader of Darth Sidious's particular style of Sith, Darth Bane, lost to the Jedi when his superiors were taken out at the final Battle of Ruusan. Although that defeat was partially due to Bane's plotting, it still emphasizes the point that the Sith and Bane could never beat the Jedi in open battle. That's why Sidious's master plan of launching the Clone Wars and executing Order 66 was so brilliant. And in the 5 years after Order 66, Palpatine used Darth Vader and his Inquisitors to kill all the Jedi that were in hiding. After the death of Eth Koth, one of the final members of the High Council who still survived, Palpatine was all but sure that the Jedi posed no threat. Now, there was something else he should focus on: the rebels. They were the biggest threat to his one goal, the biggest threat to his hold on power. And their greatest champion, besides Mon Mothma, was Bail Organa. With so much money and so much influence in the Imperial Senate, why shouldn't Palpatine have feared him? For much of the early Imperial era, it seemed like Palpatine and Vader just did whatever they wanted. Whenever they met an opponent that wasn't willing to play ball with them, the pair of Sith didn't hesitate to torture, arrest, or even kill them. But senators were different. At least, before the final bolt was placed on the first Death Star and the battle station became fully operational, senators were treated with a bit of respect. In the years before the Death Star, Palpatine was much more hesitant to push these senators around, and he found that his own influence, when paired against Bail Organa's, wasn't enough to win every single debate on the Senate floor. The power that Organa wielded was enough to give him leeway when dealing with issues, and his vast wealth allowed him to personally finance many early rebel missions. Ahsoka Tano, as the very first rebel intelligence operative, was aided by Organa, and it was thanks to her that many of the rebellion's early missions were even halfway functional. Had Bail Organa survived the destruction of Alderaan, it's likely that he would have used his influence and money to field an actual naval fleet and continue the rebellion's successful guerrilla campaigns against the Empire. After all, the Emperor dissolved the Imperial Senate during that era, so there was little reason for Organa to hide behind a facade of politics. And while Palpatine feared Organa's support of the rebels enough to want him dead, there was something else that weighed on Palpatine's mind. He knew that Bail Organa was one of the few senators that revered the Jedi. And, in fact, he was one of Padme Amidala's closest friends during the Clone Wars, a connection that meant Organa might be able to expose a weakness of his apprentice, Darth Vader. If Bail were somehow able to appeal to Vader's sentimentality and his undying love for Padme, the Sith Lord might be compromised during a mission. But worse, if Bail Organa's fascination with Jedi ever crossed the line, and he tried to track down Force-sensitive so that Ahsoka Tano or another Jedi in hiding could train him, it would only be a short time before a powerful young Jedi Knight would kill Emperor Palpatine. After all, just like every Sith that came before him, Palpatine was fated to die by the sharp end of a lightsaber, and Palpatine's presumption was that it would come from one of his apprentices, but a Jedi Knight would be more than capable too. In the end, Palpatine had more than enough reasons to fear Bail Organa. He was a proud supporter of the rebellion, a Jedi sympathizer, and he had more than enough money and friends on other planets to rile up a proper resistance. That ultimately led Palpatine to treat Bail Organa with caution, and explains why Grand Moff Tarkin never hesitated when destroying the planet of Alderaan while interrogating Princess Leia shortly before the Battle of Yavin. Thanks for stopping by Underrated Moments today and checking out this tale. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to know what you guys think about Emperor Palpatine and what he really thought of Bail Organa. I'm sure you guys have your own thoughts on this, so be sure to leave them in the comments below. And what other senators do you think Palpatine might have feared? There were plenty of senators in the Imperial Senate who represented rebellious planets or planets with very large rebellious factions. So, do you think Palpatine actually feared them as much as maybe he feared somebody like Bail Organa? I'm not sure. Let's chat it up in the comments, and I'll see you here next time on Underrated Moments.